that. So.
Good. So good morning and get inspired, Mishawaka. We are here with Pam Ender today. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you, Diane.
And we're here for our regular Friday morning 9:30 life-inspired videos, and we're glad that you could join us Facebook Live, so thanks for watching. As you recall, if you've watched us in the past, our life-inspired videos are all about life was going along, and then ... something in your life, the ... for us kind of mean and then God or something like that, and something happened in your life that changed your trajectory, and now your life is inspired by God in some way. He's directing what you're doing, and I've got tears from our previous conversation kind of dripping down my eyes. But anyway, so we're going to find out about Pam's life before the dots. Tell us, what did life look like before your dots?
Sure, and I just want to thank you again for letting me be here. I love sharing what I'm going to share. And what that life was like is I was married, had 2 young children, and then I was in the process of going through a divorce. That was in 1978. 2 young children, ages 7 and 2, and I needed to go out into the workforce and be able to find a job. I had not worked a full-time job before, so it was very nervous for me, and I just didn't know what I was going to do. So I asked a lot of the people from church to be praying about the situation, and there were some people that were encouraging me to go on public assistance. And again, there's nothing wrong with public assistance, but I really felt that that wasn't for me.
Wasn't yours. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I felt that God had given me a great mind, and I needed to use that, even though did I want to work? No, but I needed to work. Right. So I just asked, those to pray that God would provide me a job that I could enjoy, and not just enjoy, but love. And I think that was a very important lesson for me because sometimes we don't pray specifically. We just ask general prayers, but I was very specific in this prayer that God would say, yes, I'm going to give you not just a job, but a job that you would love.
That's awesome. Okay, so for you, your ... trajectory change would be the divorce.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And so then how did God answer that prayer? God, give me a job that I would love.
To me, I get goosebumps just thinking of this. I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So the first thing I did was say, okay, I guess I got to go to an employment agency.
Okay.
So I went to a local employment agency, and they sent me on a job interview. And believe it or not, that first job interview was one that they hired me.
That's awesome.
So I was really excited about that. And I'll never forget what this person told me at the employment agency. They said, learn as much as you can, learn the ins and outs of every part of what people do. You want to set yourself apart. You want to be able to be recognized, so somebody will say, wow, you can do these things, which are not something that typically your position would need. So I ended up staying. Go ahead.
So like a cross-train.
Exactly.
So like this recommendation was learn not just your own job, but other people's jobs. If you're cross-trained, you're going to be more valuable for your company.
Exactly. More valuable.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And I almost forgot to share this verse that sustained me from that time and still does. It's from Philippians 4:19, where it says, my God shall supply all your needs according to the riches in the glory of Jesus Christ. And I think that was a very important part to remember that God does supply all our needs, not just our wants, but our needs too.
Right. Awesome.
I did stay with that company for a little over 20 years. And learned all those extra things that I was told to do.
Right.
And then there was an offer made for me to do mortgages 100% of the time. And I took that offer, and I felt that was God's timing, saying, you've served your purpose for 20 years, now it's time for you to move on to something else.
Right.
So I did that. And I want to point out that I had no resume. This person sought me out to do that job.
Wow.
Stayed with that company for a year, and then another offer came, and I took that offer and worked for that company for 13 years. Again, no resume. I was asked to come And again, I felt it was something that God was directing me to do. And I think He had
given you a job you loved.
Exactly. All along, I had this passion. I loved what I was doing. I loved being able to provide a service and giving that wow service. And I was brought up in a family that job integrity was very important. My dad was a hard worker, and he always taught me to not just give 100%, but give above and beyond, and be a trusted employee. So that was very important to me to carry that on. So I think one of the most important things that happened in that life where I was working for 13 years was my daughter was getting ready to consider going to grad school, and she had 3 young children at that time. The 4th one was old enough and was going to school, but she needed somebody to help her out. And I truly believe God provided me that specific job, because if I was working a normal job, 8 to 5, I couldn't have gone to my boss and say, hey, I need 2 days off for the next 3 years to be able to help my daughter.
Right.
So that position helped me to be able to help her.
That's awesome.
Go to grad school, become a nurse practitioner. And I was able to spend that time with my grandchildren, which I think is, I can't thank God enough for that. And then in 2010, my boss came to me and said that because of all the mortgage changes, he was going to be shutting down his organization. So that became another time I said, okay, God, I know you've helped me all along. I need to claim that promise again. You're going to supply all my needs. What do you want me to do? And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to finally do a resume after all these years. But that wasn't God's plan, because he mentioned that he had aligned himself with a local credit union up in Niles, and there was a mortgage advisor position that had opened up. The person had left just within a few months. So that position was mine. Again,
That's
I didn't
awesome.
have to do a resume.
That's crazy.
So I truly think all along my path, my career path, God has supplied me with positions and jobs, and I've loved every minute of it. And I can really thank Him for providing the people in my life to encourage me to step above my comfort zone and do things that maybe the ordinary person wouldn't do.
Right. Awesome. And now we call you Pam Ender to Linda.
Yes, I know. and I love being able to share that just because it lets people know what I do, and it's my passion to do what I'm doing too.
Right. So did we get through all your notes?
Yes, the only thing I wanted to make sure that I brought up was,
oh yeah.
Yes, I want to show this. So,
can you guys see this on the camera? Emma, can y'all see it? Or maybe we hold it up close.
So this was not my scene at all.
Okay.
I saw this on Facebook about a month ago, and it just wowed me, thinking, oh my goodness, how many people can say to be successful, the first thing to do is fall in love with your work. And that truly, I think, shows how I feel about what I do, because I just don't come to work. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I love what I do.
Right. So, and then I want to say this before we cut off. Before we went on the air, you and I were talking about Billy Graham.
Yes.
Since he just passed away and he's kind of in the spotlight. And I know some of our watchers don't even know who he is or was, So who is Billy Graham to you? What effect did he have on your life?
As a young child, we were brought up in a home that God was very important, and having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ was also important. And I think I was maybe 10 years old. My mom and I think maybe my grandma and my aunt, we went to see him at Soldier Field. So that would have been maybe back in 1964. I mean, that was a long time ago. Wow. And what I remember about that is the people, the choir, and I cannot hear Just As I Am without closing my eyes and thinking of that experience in Soldier Field, because he was a godly man. He had such a way to encourage people who were down and out.
Right.
You know, he basically explained to them, God still loves you. God might not always love what we do, but He'll always love us.
Right.
And I think that's important for us to remember that.
Right, right. That's awesome. Very cool. So, if you guys have questions for Pam, if you want to ask her about, you know, what does her faith in Christ look like, you know, or whatever, I know she would have coffee with you or whatever, feel free to message us here. I heard a clip from, my husband sent it to me, that Kathy Lee Gifford was on, I forget Megan's last name that has that TV show. Megyn Kelly. And she talked about, it's not a religion, it's a relationship. And I just had that conversation with a friend for dinner on Monday night, that, you know, the difference between all of us that are just, you know, trying to live life and we're trying to be good enough. We can't be good enough. We just can't. But He doesn't expect us to be. He just wants to love us. He just wants relationship with us. And so that's what makes us inspired. You had relationship when you had needs. You said, well, help me, God. And He did. And He's been in your life all these years. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. And just, if you've got another inspired story, if you know somebody that's struggling, that Pam's story can help them, share this video with them. Or if you've got questions, message us. And if you've got other ideas of other people that need to come share their stories, message us that too. So thanks for watching, and have a great Friday and a great weekend. God bless. Bye-bye.